Okay guys, I don't know about you, but I never thought we would see the day when plastic Chaos Dwarves would be available to the masses. And here it is. The new Helsmiths of Hashut army set is now available to pre-order, and I've been dying to get stuck in and get some of these miniatures painted. I'm going to be starting with the Tormentor. Am I getting that name right? It's the Dominator engine. Sorry, I get a little bit confused sometimes with all these wazzy names that exist in Age of Sigmar. But basically, he's a big brass bull covered and wreathed in flame and fire. You can build him as a close combat version or as a guy with like cannons on the end of his arms. I decided to have a little bit of fun with mine, doing with like lots of rust, lots of oxidization, and then some crazy kind of pink warp fire coming out of him to kind of signify their kind of allegiance to chaos gods and magics that will animate their kind of creation. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do in today's video. So without further ado, let's dive in and get this guy painted up. Okay, and this is the Dominator engine. It's a very fantastic new sculpt, the new entire range. I'm going to keep calling them Chaos Dwarfs. I know they have a new fancy Age of Sigmar name, which is, what, Helsmiths of Hashut? But Chaos Dwarfs they are, and shall ever be known to me. So obviously they've gotten a whole host of new miniature releases, and I'm sure there's loads more to come at some stage. But I'm very excited to get them painted up, but I do not have a huge amount of time. So I thought to myself, what if I come up with a very quick and easy and achievable way of getting these guys painted? So that's what I went in for today. So I started by getting the model built and sprayed entirely black. And then after this, I grabbed myself a nice warm brown color. I decided to go for Rhinox hide here. And I painted in the entire model minus the flames, but if you hit the flames, it doesn't matter. We're going to be painting over them anyway. But you don't need to spend extra time making sure the flames are brown. With the Rhinox hide color, getting that nice solid base coat. I've decided to go for an aged, weathered, rustied, patinaed, like forgotten machine. Maybe these particular Chaos Dwarfs have a touch of Nurgle to them. Maybe some of their machines are a bit warped and a bit crusted. I know it's not really in their lore, but I think it would look really cool. So I decided to go with that. The next thing you do is you go for a Riser Rust, and then you stipple that across all the parts that you just did that nice rich brown color. Now normally I would go straight into a silver dry brush after this to catch all those edges. Because it's such kind of a large model and because I want it to be kind of a nice looking piece, I decided to go for 2 layers of stippling. So to go from this brown here, this orangey brown here, I decided to go for 1 extra stage of orange. So I grabbed my Fire Dragon Bright color. And I'm basically going to be doing the same step I did previously, just a little bit lighter. Just add that kind of 2 tones of orange in the rust factor of the model. As you can see, I'm being a little bit more controlled with this. I'm only going in kind of the center areas. I don't need to go into like armpits or anything like that. This is for more of the kind of brighter areas, catching more of the light. We'll obviously make it be a little bit brighter. When all of that brighter orange is applied, it's time for a bit of lead belcher, and we're going to dry brush this across the entire piece now, which will catch all those edges, all those kind of scratches and scuffs, all the bit whereas this guy marches to war or is engaged in close combat all the time and stuff like that. Some of the model will get hit and get dinked and get scratched, which will reveal kind of the previous metal colors behind the bright silvers, but all the recesses and stuff will be where all of that nice rusty color will stay. It's a very, very quick technique, but I think it looks really, really cool. I think it's one of the best or better looking rust techniques that exists out there. Just a couple of orange stipples and a bit of a silver dry brush, and you get this really, really fantastic result. Now, at this point, I based it, but I based it wrong. It's too much brown. I know that now, so please do just ignore it. It will the base will magically change color in a few steps time, and I think suit the model a little bit better. Okay, Nilic Oxide was now brought in for the kind of pin washing. So Nilic Oxide gives that kind of patinaed look to the model. So what you're going to do is very carefully paint this into all the recesses across this entire piece. Every kind of corner, every crevice, any kind of gaps in the armor, eyes of the bull around any of the like symbols, anything like that you want to feed this paint into to make the model pop a little bit more. And as you can see, I have been applying quite a lot of it to the model. I wanted to pull away from the kind of just the brown bull look and really feed into that this machine and this piece of technology, this construct is truly ancient. And you got to remember the Age of Sigmar is just thousands and thousands of years of lore and history that the Chaos Dwarfs have been rattling around. And imagine they build these machines to last. So some of them will endeavor to look a little bit older. Okay, we went for the Triad, Pershing Pink, Hot Pink, and Neo Pink from 2 thin coats. And this is the color I ended up going for with the fire and the flames that are kind of built up around this model. So first thing I did was block it in with that first color, that nice kind of warmish pink tone to get the whole thing started. Obviously, I'm being super careful when applying this color, blocking in the flames, because we are basically finished with the armor, that rust and that patina. We don't want to be hitting it with any of that flame. So please do take your time with this. Now, this is the point of the painting, that if you decide you want to follow down the same route as me with this kind of quick and easy thing, you can substitute out the pinks for any color you want. If there's any other blazing color that you want, if you want to do like traditional fire coming out of the top of it, that would look really cool. Kind of blue zinch, you know, purple energy for kind of the Hashut look to it for the Chaos Dwarfs. It's totally up to you. Just pick any triad of colors that you want, that you think will look nice, and go for it. Look really cool. I was just in the mood for some nice, awesome pink flames. So I did go through the triad. I ended up focusing on the fire in his stomach for the basic tutorial bit, to show you each step as I go, and also a little bit of a test for me to make sure that I was happy with the final result before I then applied it to all the other fire around the rest of the model. So far it's looking pretty nice. We even decided to go an extra step after this and hit it with a tiny touch of pure white for the very kind of top bits, the very kind of sharpest details and stuff, just to give that kind of warm, glowing look. In the end, after I was finished applying these kind of colors to all of the fire, I thought it looked just a little bit too kind of pale, a little bit too pallid. It wasn't screaming with that kind of, I don't know, energy look to it. It looked really nice, I think, on the chest piece that I'm finishing off here. But when I hit the flames, I like the huge big flame pattern across his back. Maybe I went a little bit too heavy on some of the later kind of highlights. Maybe could a little bit more reserved with that. But I thought there was something missing, and there's something I just wanted to like pull it back. I don't know, pull it back together a little bit. So what I decided to do then is grab one of the intensity inks from Green Stuff World. And luckily I do have a magenta one. So I decided to throw this as like a crazy gamble across all of the fire, to make obviously those tones pull together a little bit more and give it that kind of energized look to it. And I am really happy with the final result of that. I think it looks really cool, and it suits the model a hell of a lot better than just leaving it as this almost like a white pink flames that it currently is at. Now, as you can see, I think the fire looks a little bit more intense now. It looks a little bit more awesome. Obviously, the base has changed from a brown to a gray to help the kind of rusted look stand out a little bit more. Obviously, this thing is kind of wroth in like mystical fires and belching energy and stuff like that. So one last touch I decided to go for is a little bit of black pigment powder. And I fed this around the base to look like soda or charcoal and stuff like that. And I did stipple it a little bit across some of the model as well, into some of the recesses around the fire and stuff. Just I thought it would help pull those two colors together a little bit better, and I thought it suited. It was going to look really cool. So after that was done, sprayed the model with a Minotaur varnish to make sure that the pigment all stayed in place, added a couple of grass tufts, and that finished off our first Dominator engine for the new Chaos Dwarf faction for Age of Sigmar. This thing took absolutely no time at all to paint, and I'm really pleased with the final result. Love to know what your guys' thoughts are. Please let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you drop a comment and make sure you're subscribed. And you want to check out things like Patreon, channel membership, or any other affiliate links we have down there for saving you some money on some of your hobby purchases. Check those out as well. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one.